Picture this. A student asks ChatGPT to explain quantum physics. In seconds, they get a personalized answer tailored to their level. No waiting, no confusion, just learning. Now imagine that same student sitting in a classroom of 30 kids, listening to a one-size-fits-all lecture waiting for the bell to ring. This is the reality we're living in, and it's why school as we know it is becoming obsolete. For over a century, our education system has operated like a factory. Students move through grades like products on an assembly line. Everyone learns the same thing at the same pace in the same way. But here's the problem. We don't live in a factory world anymore. We live in the age of AI, where information is instant, personalized, and everywhere. Traditional schools were designed for a different era, an era where memorizing facts mattered because access to information was limited. But today, you can ask your phone anything and get an answer in seconds. So why are we still teaching kids to memorize dates and formulas when they could be learning to think critically, solve real problems, and create? The truth is, AI is already doing what schools used to do best, delivering information, but it's doing it better, faster, and more personally. And this isn't just theory. Students are already using AI tutors. They're getting instant feedback on essays. They're learning languages through conversation with bots that never get tired. The question isn't whether AI will change education. It already has. The question is, will our schools adapt or will they be left behind? Because here's what education needs now. Not more standardized tests, not more rigid curriculums, but skills that AI can't replace. Creativity, emotional intelligence, collaboration, critical thinking. These are the skills that will matter in the future. And ironically, these are the skills that traditional schooling often suppresses. So what's the solution? It's not about getting rid of schools. It's about reimagining them. It's about using AI as a tool, not a threat. It's about creating learning environments where students explore their passions, work on real projects, and develop the human skills that machines can't replicate. The future of education isn't about choosing between humans and AI. It's about combining the best of both. So the next time someone tells you school is essential, ask them, essential for what? For memorizing facts, or for preparing young people to thrive in a world that's changing faster than ever? Because if we don't rethink education now, we risk raising a generation that's educated for a world that no longer exists. The choice is ours. Let's make it count. But let's step back for a moment. How did we get here? To understand why our education system is failing, we need to understand where it came from. The modern school system was born during the Industrial Revolution. Factories needed workers who could follow instructions, show up on time, and perform repetitive tasks. So schools were designed to produce exactly that: obedient, punctual workers who could memorize information and follow rules. And for over 100 years, this system worked. It created the workforce that built the modern world. But here's the thing, the world has changed. The jobs that required memorization and repetition, they're disappearing. Automated, replaced by machines that can do those tasks faster and more accurately than any human ever could. Yet our schools, they're still operating on the same principles, still teaching to the test, still prioritizing memorization over understanding, still treating every student like they're the same. Let me give you a concrete example. In a traditional classroom, a teacher presents a lesson to 30 students. Some students already understand the concept. They're bored. Others are completely lost. They're frustrated. But the teacher has to keep moving because there's a curriculum to cover, a test to prepare for. Now, imagine the same scenario with AI. Each student gets a personalized lesson adapted to their current level of understanding. If they're struggling, the AI slows down, provides more examples, tries different explanations. If they're ahead, it challenges them with more complex problems. No one is bored. No one is left behind. This isn't science fiction. This technology exists right now. Khan Academy's AI tutor, Khanmigo, does exactly this. It provides personalized instruction, answers questions, and adapts to each student's pace. And the results? Students learn faster, retain more, and actually enjoy the process. But here's where it gets really interesting. AI isn't just better at delivering information. It's fundamentally changing what we need to learn. Think about it. For centuries, education was about acquiring knowledge. The person who knew the most facts, who had memorized the most information, had a huge advantage. But in the age of AI, when any fact is instantly accessible, memorization becomes almost worthless. What matters now is what you do with information. Can you analyze it? Can you synthesize ideas from different sources? Can you think critically about what's true and what's not? Can you create something new? These are the skills that AI can't replace, at least not yet. And these are the skills that our current education system is terrible at teaching. Let's talk about creativity. In most schools, creativity is confined to art class, maybe music. The rest of the curriculum is about finding the right answer, the one the teacher expects. But in the real world, the most valuable skill is finding new answers, asking better questions, seeing connections that others miss. Or consider emotional intelligence, the ability to understand and manage your own emotions, to empathize with others, to navigate complex social situations. These skills are crucial for success in almost any field. Yet they're barely taught in schools. We assume kids will just pick them up somehow. And collaboration. Most schoolwork is individual. Working together is often called cheating. But in the real world, almost everything important is done in teams. The ability to work effectively with others, to communicate clearly, to resolve conflicts, to build on each other's ideas. These are essential skills, and they require practice. So here's the paradox. The skills that matter most in the AI age are the most human skills. The skills that make us uniquely valuable are the ones that can't be automated. Yet our education system, designed for a pre-AI world, focuses on exactly the opposite. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but students still need to learn the basics. They need to know math, science, history, literature, and you're absolutely right. But here's the question. Do they need to memorize it, or do they need to understand it? There's a huge difference. Memorizing the dates of historical events is not the same as understanding why those events happened, what they meant, how they shaped the world we live in. Memorizing mathematical formulas is not the same as understanding mathematical thinking, being able to solve novel problems, seeing the beauty in mathematical patterns. AI can help with both. It can drill students on facts if that's what's needed, but more importantly, it can help them develop deep understanding. It can present concepts in multiple ways, provide interactive simulations, connect abstract ideas to real-world applications. Let me share another example. In traditional physics education, students learn Newton's laws by reading about them, maybe seeing a demonstration, then solving textbook problems. But with AI-powered simulations, students can actually experiment. They can change variables, see what happens, develop intuition. They can fail safely, try again, discover patterns on their own. This is learning at a completely different level. It's not about memorizing that F equals ma. It's about understanding what force, mass, and acceleration actually mean, how they relate to each other, why this matters. And here's the beautiful part. When students learn this way, they don't just understand physics better. They develop scientific thinking. They learn how to ask questions, design experiments, analyze results. These are skills that transfer to everything else they do. But let's address the elephant in the room. If AI can teach so effectively, do we even need teachers anymore? The answer is absolutely yes. But the role of teachers needs to change. Instead of being the primary source of information, teachers become guides, mentors, facilitators. They help students navigate their learning journey. They provide the human connection that AI can't. They inspire, encourage, challenge. Think of it this way. AI can explain a concept, but a great teacher can make you care about it. AI can answer your questions, but a teacher can help you figure out what questions to ask. AI can provide feedback, but a teacher can see potential you didn't know you had. The best education combines both. AI handles the personalized instruction, the practice, the immediate feedback. Teachers focus on what humans do best, building relationships, fostering curiosity, creating community, helping students discover their passions. Some schools are already doing this. They're using AI to handle routine instruction, freeing up teachers to work with students one-on-one or in small groups. The results are remarkable. Students learn faster, teachers are less burned out, and everyone is more engaged. But here's the challenge. Most schools aren't there yet. They're stuck in the old model, resistant to change. And I get it. Change is hard. There are legitimate concerns about AI in education, privacy issues, equity concerns, the risk of over-reliance on technology. These concerns are real and need to be addressed, but they're not reasons to avoid AI altogether. They're reasons to implement it thoughtfully, with proper safeguards, with a focus on enhancing human learning, not replacing human teachers. So what would education look like if we got it right? Imagine a school where every student has a personalized learning path, where AI tutors provide instruction adapted to each student's needs, pace, and learning style, where teachers focus on mentorship, inspiration, and helping students develop those crucial human skills. Imagine students spending less time in lectures and more time on projects that matter to them. Building things, solving real problems, collaborating with peers around the world, using AI as a tool to help them learn what they need when they need it. Imagine assessment that's not about a single test score, but about demonstrating real understanding, real skills, real growth, where AI can track progress continuously, identify gaps, suggest resources, all while respecting student privacy. This isn't a fantasy. The technology exists. What's missing is the will to change, the courage to reimagine education for a new era. And the stakes couldn't be higher. We're preparing students for a world that will be radically different from today. A world where AI will be ubiquitous, where the nature of work will continue to evolve, where the challenges we face, climate change, global health, social inequality, will require unprecedented creativity and collaboration. If we stick with the old model, we're setting up our children to fail. We're teaching them skills that won't matter, preparing them for jobs that won't exist, giving them an education designed for a world that's already gone. But if we embrace change, if we use AI as a tool to enhance human learning, if we focus on developing the skills that make us uniquely human, we can create an education system that actually prepares students for the future. The choice really is ours. We can cling to the familiar, comfortable system that's failing our children, or we can be brave enough to imagine something better. Because here's the truth. School isn't becoming obsolete because of AI. School is becoming obsolete because it refuses to evolve. The question isn't whether education will change, it's whether we'll be the ones to change it, or whether we'll be left behind while others build the future. Our children deserve better. They deserve an education that prepares them for the world they'll actually live in. An education that develops their full potential, that honors their individuality, that gives them the tools they need to thrive. The technology is ready. The question is, are we? Let me share some real-world examples that show this isn't just theory. Around the world, pioneering schools and educators are already making this transition, and the results are remarkable. In Finland, schools have moved away from traditional subjects entirely. Instead, students work on phenomenon-based learning, exploring real-world topics that naturally integrate multiple disciplines. A project on climate change might involve science, math, economics, social studies, and communication skills all at once. And they're using AI tools to help students research, analyze data, and present their findings. In Singapore, the government has invested heavily in AI-powered adaptive learning platforms. Every student has access to personalized math and science instruction that adjusts in real time to their performance. Teachers use the data from these systems to identify exactly where each student needs help. The result? Singapore consistently ranks at the top of international education assessments, but more importantly, their students report higher engagement and lower stress. In the United States, schools like Alt School and ConLab School are pioneering new models. Students work at their own pace, using AI tutors for core instruction, while teachers focus on project-based learning and social-emotional development. These schools are producing students who are not just academically advanced, but also creative, collaborative, and passionate about learning. Even in developing countries, we're seeing transformation. In India, organizations like Bijus are using AI to bring quality education to millions of students who would never have access to good teachers otherwise. In Africa, mobile learning platforms are helping students in remote villages access world-class educational content. These aren't isolated experiments. They're proof of concept. They show us what's possible when we're willing to rethink education fundamentally. But let's also be honest about the challenges. Implementing AI in education isn't simple. It requires infrastructure, reliable internet, devices for every student. It requires training. Teachers need to learn new skills, new approaches. It requires careful thought about data privacy, algorithmic bias, and ensuring that technology enhances rather than replaces human connection. And perhaps most challenging of all, it requires changing mindsets. Parents who succeeded in the traditional system often want the same for their children. Teachers who've spent decades perfecting their craft may feel threatened by new approaches. Administrators worry about accountability, about how to measure success in ways that don't fit neatly into standardized tests. These concerns are valid. Change is uncomfortable, but the cost of not changing is far higher. Every year we delay is another year of students who aren't getting the education they need, another year of teachers burning out trying to do the impossible, another year of widening gaps between those who have access to quality education and those who don't. Here's what gives me hope. When you talk to students, they get it immediately. They understand that the world is changing. They see their parents' jobs being transformed by technology. They know that what worked for previous generations won't work for them. They're ready for something different. They're hungry for it. And when you talk to innovative teachers, the ones who are already experimenting with new approaches, they're excited. Yes, it's challenging. Yes, it requires learning new skills, but they see their students more engaged, more curious, more successful. They see themselves able to focus on what they love about teaching, inspiring young people, not just delivering content. The path forward isn't about choosing between tradition and innovation. It's about taking the best of both. It's about preserving what makes education human, the relationships, the inspiration, the community, while leveraging technology to make learning more effective, more personalized, more accessible. Imagine a world where every child, regardless of where they're born or how much money their parents have, has access to world-class education, where learning is personalized to their interests, their pace, their style, where teachers are freed from administrative burden to focus on what they do best, inspiring and guiding young people, where assessment measures real understanding and growth, not just test-taking ability. This world is within reach. The technology exists. The pedagogical knowledge exists. What we need is the collective will to make it happen. Let me leave you with this final thought. Every generation faces a moment where they must choose between clinging to the past or embracing the future. For education, that moment is now. We have the tools. We have the knowledge. We have the technology. What we need is the courage to use them. The courage to admit that the system we grew up with, the system that served previous generations, is no longer enough. This isn't about abandoning everything that came before. It's about building on it, taking the best of traditional education, the human connection, the mentorship, the community, and combining it with the power of AI to create something better than either could achieve alone. Our children are counting on us. They're growing up in a world we can barely imagine, a world where the only constant is change, where the skills they need tomorrow might not even exist today. They deserve an education system that prepares them for that reality. So let's stop defending a system that's broken. Let's stop pretending that minor tweaks will fix fundamental problems. Let's have the courage to reimagine education from the ground up. Because when we look back 20 years from now, we'll either be proud that we had the vision to change, or we'll regret that we didn't act when we had the chance. The future of education isn't coming. It's already here. The only question is whether we'll be part of creating it or whether we'll be left behind, still defending a system that no longer serves anyone. Choose wisely. Our children's future depends on it.